Hey everybody, welcome back to my Project 13. Thanks for coming on by and checking out this vid as I get comfortable in my chair. Appreciate your time and your support. Just had some coffee and a banana early in the morning, getting my day started. And I wanted to shoot this video and have a conversation about yesterday's Google event, October 9, 2010, and talk about my LG V20 received a system software update yesterday early in the morning, but I wanted to wait till today to actually download it. Here it is right here. We're going to have Android Oreo 8.0. So hoping for some really good things out of this update 8.0 to my LG V20. I took some screenshots of my homepage, widget area, camera, telephone, just different areas on my V20 to see if anything changes. What I'm not hoping for is any issues with performance and functionality. So we'll just see what it does, how much of it visually changes, and what performance and functionality is like after I download the update. So we're going to do that together. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Google event that happened yesterday, again, October 9, 2018. Was it everything that you wanted it to be? Or was it an event that you were not interested in? We'd already heard a lot about the Google Pixel 3 XL. Rumors, leaks, pics, unboxings, hands-ons, you name it, it happened. And yesterday's event pretty much solidified everything about the Google Pixel 3 XL. Now, the Google Pixel 3, that little device, I'm digging. And I'm thinking about picking it up. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking about picking it up. At 5.5 inch, even at 1080p, it's an AMOLED display. I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful display. And I'm sure after last year's Google Pixel 2, Google Pixel 2 XL, the displays that were on those devices, and a lot of the controversy surrounding those displays, that this year, Google went up and over and beyond to make sure that what you're going to get on these two devices, regardless of the notch on the XL, are going to be beautiful, and that they're not going to hear any kind of negativity coming back from you, the consumer. But we'll find out. But yeah, that little guy looks really interesting to me, and they're pretty much housing the same information. So you know what we're going to do right now is go ahead and start the update on my LG V20, and then we'll continue talking about the Google Pixel 3 and the Google Pixel 3 XL. So let's go ahead, and if I get sidetracked a little bit here, my apologies, but hang in there with me. I just wanted to really share all this with all of you. It can be a little bit of a lengthy video, so if you can't watch all of it, at least come back to it later and rewatch what you missed. So with that being said, let's go ahead and restart my LG V20, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Google Pixel 3 and the Google Pixel 3 XL. And we're going to do that now, as you can see. Okay, so we'll let that run. The Google Pixel 3, Google Pixel 3 XL specs underneath the hood, pretty much going to be exactly the same. 4 gigs of RAM on both. You're going to have the option of 64 gigs of internal storage, 128 gigs of internal storage. You're going to pay a little more for that 128. Price point, $799 on the Google Pixel 3. $899 on the Google Pixel 3 XL. As far as the cameras, you're going to have 8 megapixel shooters on the front, 12.2 megapixel shooters on the rear. You got a single camera on both devices on the back. You are going to have optical image stabilization, electronic image stabilization on both as well. Both are going to house a 2915 battery. Under 3,000 milliamps. That's 2915 milliamp battery. Now, as long as both of these devices are well optimized, everything working together, you're basically getting stock Android here. Shouldn't have any issues. We're used to seeing the battery size a lot bigger on devices these days and not really hearing so much of battery sizes being under 3,000 milliamps. Now, there are a few smartphones out there with smaller sizes, but typically they're getting larger. But sometimes that doesn't mean much. You can have a bigger battery and still get battery life that isn't going to be as great as you thought it was going to be, because within the device, in the optimization of the device, it's just not there. Not everything's working together really well, or that also depends on how you're using your device. There's a lot of variables that go into that. We've talked about that since I started doing YouTube here about 4 years ago. That's been a conversation that goes back and forth and back and forth. And so having a bigger battery doesn't always mean that it's going to be better. Sometimes having that smaller battery is going to be better depending on what's going on with your device and how it's working for itself and for you and how it's being used. Okay, if I can simplify that. What else? You have fast charge and you have wireless charging now on these devices. So a lot of the same. Google Pixel 3 XL, 2K display to the 1080p on the Google Pixel 3. But you get no notch on that little guy, and you get that huge notch on the bigger guy. You can almost fit the little guy inside that notch area. That's how big that is. Crazy. So basically, size and display separate these two devices. Meanwhile, my LG V20 is still working on Android Oreo 8.0. So down below, I want to know what your thoughts are on both of these devices in comparison to each other and as individual devices, and does the notch bother you or not? We've pretty much gotten used to having devices with notches, and we love to see when companies that put out smartphone with notches that you have the ability to hide that area if you want. At least have the option. You get that on the Pocophone F1. You get that on the LG G7. But the LG G7 has a disclaimer that basically lets you know that it really only works with LG apps. Occasionally it'll work with another app that has nothing to do with LG. So if you try to hide the notch, if you utilize that in the settings area with the LG G7 that I'm actually using to shoot this video with right now, it's not going to work entirely for every app that you have on that specific smartphone, on this smartphone right here. Okay, you'll have that notch hidden, but it'll show up on most of your apps from the Play Store. Again, if they're LG apps, then that setting will work for you. But on the Pocophone F1, you hide that notch and it will be hidden. I have not run into any area with all the apps that I have where that notch shows up once I have that area hidden. So with that being said, again, feedback down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Google event if you were interested in it, and in the other areas that were covered during the event. I'm looking forward to the Razer event. I won't be able to watch it. My wife and I will be out and about doing our thing. It's our date night. I'm not going to stop date night and stop what is really important in life for an event. But trust me, when I have the time after we hang out together and have our date and have our time alone away from the kids, and we're out and about doing our thing, once that's said and done, I'll sit down later on this evening and watch the event and see what we're going to get with the Razer Phone 2 and bumper cam. So I'm looking forward to the information. I'm not going to cover too much of that right now because I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And we pretty much know that there's a Razer right here. that the Razr 2 is going to look a lot like this device right here. There will be some changes, but we'll get into that later in a different video. So we're almost there. I'm going to go ahead and put the video on pause, go get some coffee, and then I'll return once we get this update onto my LG V20. I'll be back. All right, I'm back, and my apologies because I did not record that there was a message on my display that asked me to update my LG apps for a better experience with the new operating system, Android Oreo 8.0. I quickly hit not now and then realized, oops, should have recorded that and shared that with everybody. So yeah, I reacted, wasn't thinking, oops. But my main concern with this update is performance and functionality. Okay, that's my main concern. There's other areas to be concerned with, you know, and how it will affect my battery life. Still a device that you can change out your battery. But if there's anything significant that you've noticed with the update on your LG V20, please leave that down below. Share that with me and others. We're going to do a quick little tour to see what's visually different right when we get into the V20 as far as like the widgets, the settings, and so forth. But as far as anything in depth, anything I find different, I will share that with you. I will update all of you during the early morning vlogs. That's usually when I talk a lot about that type of stuff, that type of information. But I wanted to get back to the Google Pixel 3 and the 3 XL. I did not mention that they both support the same Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset, the 845, which is the latest and greatest right now. They both have IP certification, IP68, water resistant. Okay, water resistance. They do not have a headphone jack. They do not have expandable storage. Remember I mentioned you have the option between 64 gigs and 128 gigs on both these devices. $799 starting point, price point for the smaller variant, the larger variant. $899. You're going to pay more for that 128 gig, okay? But you do have fast charge, wireless charging. The Google Pixel 3 XL I mentioned had an 8 megapixel shooter, actually has two, portrait mode and wide angle. The notch, that huge notch, houses those two 8 megapixel shooters. But again, there's no reason to make a notch that big to house two cameras. Okay, I've seen smaller notches with that setup. So if it can be done, it could have been done on the Google Pixel 3 XL. Now I'm done talking about that because my interest is in that little guy. Yeah, I'm really thinking hard about that, but that puts a dent in what I was going to do here on my Project 13 and what I want to bring in. So, so let's go ahead and go into my gallery. Okay, so my first screenshot here is Android 7.0 security patch May 1st. I don't know why I took a screenshot of YouTube, but the dialer looks like that before the update. Settings, that's what settings look like. This is before I had any idea what could be different after the update, the 8.0 Android Oreo update. Okay, and widgets, notifications, and when powering off the device, you get all these options. I don't know if that's still the same. And there's my home page. So what we're going to do is go into, well, there's the notifications, so that looks the same. The widgets looks the same. Okay. Settings area looks different. Now we have your settings within settings. Your subfolders there are all color coordinated. Very, very nice. I like that. Looks good. Nice and fluid. And you have this area here that's different, looking for something else. So that's nice. So I think they minimized how much information is right in the settings folder there, and decided to put some of that information at the bottom. I don't know. Could be wrong. But that looks good. Doesn't look, it looks kind of plain basically. So it gives a little more visual excitement with the colors there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. That looks good. Let's see what else. I guess, I mean, at this point, that's about it. If I want to power off the device, let's see what that looks like. Still looks the same. Okay. So let's go into System, About Phone, and go to Software Information. Up top, you have Android Oreo 8.0, and you have August 1st security patch. So we went from May to August, and we went from Android Nougat to Android Oreo 8.0. So not a whole lot visually is different, but my main concern again is performance and functionality, and we just want to make sure the fluidity is there. This device came out in October 2016, so 2 years of age, and that looks really good as far as the fluidity. That looks good. Nice. Nice. Performance is doing well.
That lets you buy and
so that's about it. Okay, I'm going to end the video there. We now have 8.0. Again, if I see anything really that needs to be mentioned, I will mention that during the early morning blog. But for those of you that know more about the update, maybe you had a little bit longer than me, and you know any new tips and tricks and any in-depth areas that have changed, leave that information down below. But as of right now, my go-to device when creating content, the V20 has Android Oreo 8.0 and security patch updated to August. And we'll see how performance functionality is for me when creating content. Real quickly, if you wanted to know the apps that I use for creating content here on my Project 13, Filmora Go, Light Collage, Android Vid Pro, Photo Layers, Video Show Pro, and Photo Lab. Those 6 are my go-to apps from the Play Store to create content here, just in case you wanted to know. Okay, V20 doing it right when it comes to creating content. If you're starting a channel, you don't have a lot of money, looking to picking up a mint condition or brand new LG V20, trust me, you're going to love the wide angle lens on the back. Creates great content. I'm using it right now on the G7 to shoot this video. Whew! All right, I'm done. Peace. Thanks for having a conversation with me. Till my next video. This is my Project 13.